Hi guys, my name is Muhammad Ishraq bin Muhammad Ismandi. Today we're gonna talk about industrial hygiene for food handling. What is industrial hygiene? Industrial hygiene is the science and art of anticipating, recognizing, evaluating, and controlling workplace conditions that may cause illness or injury. According to OSHA 2023, it helps create a safe environment by identifying hazards early and taking steps to control them before they affect workers. Now, let's look at the first principle. For the first one is anticipation. At Pizza Hut, workers are exposed to various potential hazards every day. For example, they use hot ovens, sharp cutting tools, and cleaning chemicals that could cause burns or chemical exposure if not handled properly. By anticipating these risks, the management can plan ahead, such as checking ventilation system to reduce heat, labeling chemical containers clearly, or providing safe work producer. That's all for me. Let's pass into the fact room.
Hi, my name is Jason Chan. So today I will explain the hazard identification in the food industry. Okay, so as we know, everyday workers in the food industry help produce the meal we enjoy. But behind the scenes, they face various hidden dangers that can harm their health and safety. So today, let's explore how to recognize and prevent biological, chemical, and ergonomic hazards in the food industry workplace. So first is biological hazard are caused by harmful microorganisms such as Salmonella, E. coli, and Listeria. Those bacteria grow quickly when raw food are stored at the wrong temperature or handled without proper hygiene. Food practice like not washing hands, using dirty utensils, or fail to wear gloves can lead to food contamination and serious foodborne illness. Temperature control, frequent hand wash, and proper use of protective gloves are essential steps to prevent biological hazard. And next is chemical hazard. They occur mainly during cleaning and sanitizing. Workers use strong detergent to clean machinery and surface, but without proper care, those chemicals can cause burns, eye irritation, and breathing problems. So always check chemical labels and safety data sheet. Wear the correct personal protective equipment and store cleaning agents safely to prevent spill or accident missing. And last is ergonomic hazard. Ergonomic hazards are less visible but just as harmful. In food production, workers repeat the same movement for long hours. Example like cutting, packing, or lifting heavy material. So over time, they cause muscle strain, back pain, and fatigue. So to reduce ergonomic risk, workers should use correct lifting technique, take short break, and use adjustable or mechanical lifting aid whenever possible. By recognizing biological, chemical, and ergonomic hazards, we can create a safer and healthy food industry. Remember, good hygiene, proper equipment, and safe work habits protect not only workers but also everyone who depends on safe food.
And now I will be explaining the hazard risk evaluation table for different types of hazard that can occur in a food handling environment. Let's begin with the first hazard, biological hazard. This involves the growth of bacteria such as Salmonella, E. coli, and Listeria from raw food or improper storage. If hygiene or temperature control fails, it can cause foodborne illness, and the risk metric is 3 times 4, which equals 12, making it a high risk. This is measured through temperature check, microbial surface testing, and hygiene inspection. And now we're going to chemical hazard, which happens during cleaning and sanitizing with strong chemicals. This can cause skin or respiratory irritation. The likelihood is 2 and the severity is 3, giving a score 6. So that means medium risk. It's evaluated by observing cleaning activities, reviewing safety data sheets, and interviewing workers about symptoms. And then we got ergonomic hazard caused by repetitive motion such as cutting and packaging. This can lead to muscle strain or repetitive motion injuries over time. The risk metric is 3 times 2, which equals 6, also a medium risk. It is identified through task observation, workstation assessment, and worker feedback. Now, we're going to another biological hazard, which is poor storage and handling of raw meat, eggs, and dairy. This promotes bacterial growth and contamination during storage and handling. The risk metric is again 3 times 4 equal to 12, a high risk. It's evaluated by reviewing temperature logs, doing visual inspection, and conducting hygiene audits. Next is another chemical hazard involving pesticide residues or food additive. If contaminant ingredients are consumed, it can cause long-term health effect, and the likelihood is 2 and severity 4 is giving a score of IC, high risk. This is evaluated through lab testing of food samples and supplier compliance checks. And finally, we have an ergonomic hazard from lifting and carrying heavy containers. This can cause back pain or musculoskeletal injuries from frequent heavy lifting. The risk metric is 3 times 3, which equals 9, high risk. It is evaluated using DIOSH lifting guidelines, observation, and worker reports of discomfort. So, in summary, we can see that biological hazard and heavy lifting pose the highest risk, emphasizing the need for proper hygiene, safe storage, and good ergonomic practice.
So, hello guys, my name is Arnold Sumongsong, and I will be explaining about the control measure that we have come up to overcome the hazards that we found in food processing industry. So here we have found 3 types of hazard, which are biological hazard, chemical hazards, and ergonomic hazards. So let's dig into it. The first biological hazard is the growth of bacteria such as E. coli, Salmonella, and Listeria. The control measure that we have come up to overcome this hazard is by discarding expired or spoiled raw food immediately. And for substitution, it is to use pre-washed, pasteurized, or pre-cooked ingredients when possible. For engineering control, where we have to maintain a cold storage temperature to -5 degrees Celsius. It also can be achieved by installing an automatic temperature monitoring system. And for second biological hazard is the poor storage and poor handling of raw meat, eggs, and dairy products. The control measure that we have come up is by administrative control, where we enforce the FIFO stock rotation system. FIFO stands for first in, first out, where the first stock that arrive first have to be used first. It is also to prevent older stocks from reaching their expiry dates. And the last control measure is personal protective equipments, which are disposable gloves, aprons, and hairnets for the food handlers to use. Now, let's move on to the chemical hazard. The first chemical hazard is the exposure of stuffs to cleaning agents and disinfectants, where the control measure that we have come up is by elimination, where we avoid unnecessary use of harsh chemicals. And for substitution, where we replace the disinfectants and cleaning agents with less toxic and more eco-friendly cleaning agents. And for engineering control is by ensuring adequate ventilation by installing LEV system, which means local exhaust ventilation system. Let's move on to the second chemical hazard, which is the pesticide residues and food additives. And for this one, we have come up with a control measure for administrative controls, which is to maintain supplier approval programs by performing lab testing and to ensure regulatory compliance. For personal protective equipment, we recommend that employees or the management have to prepare personal protective equipment such as hairnets for hair and gloves and also masks for the employees that are handling the raw materials and raw ingredients of the food industry. Now, let's move on to the ergonomic hazard. There are also two hazards. The first one is repetitive motions, such as cutting, packaging, and heavy lifting. This control measure that we have come up to overcome this hazard is by elimination, where we automate repetitive process. This can be done by using mechanical aids such as trolleys, jacks, conveyors, pallets, and for substitution, where we should rotate tasks of the staff. This is to vary their movements and directly reduce the repetition of tasks. And for engineering controls, the employers and management have to provide staff with adjustable workstations and also ergonomic tools to help them do their job. For example, cushioned handles and tables with adjustable heights. And the second ergonomic hazard is lifting and carrying heavy containers. The control measure that we have come up for this hazard is by implementing administrative controls, where we should implement the National Institute for Safety and Health DIOSH guidelines for lifting. It can be done by conducting manual handling training to the staff, and this will ensure team lifting for heavy loads. And the last one is by giving the staff PPE. The PPE are support belts and safety shoes. So that's all for the control measure. Thank you.
Hi guys, so we have come to the conclusion of the video, and for this assessment we have identified three major hazards, which are biological hazard, chemical hazard, and ergonomic hazard. Biological hazard such as bacterial contamination can pose risk if food handling and storage procedures are not followed strictly. Meanwhile, chemical hazard, they are mainly come from exposure to cleaning and sanitizing agents, while the ergonomic hazards are linked to repetitive motions and manual lifting tasks. Moreover, the risk evaluation have indicated that biological hazard and chemical hazards have higher risk levels than chemical hazard. Therefore, by implementing effective control measures such as using mechanical aids for lifting, following strict hygiene practices, ensuring safe chemical handling, and providing proper training to employees can significantly reduce this risk. By consistently applying the hierarchy of controls, conducting regular safety inspections, and reinforcing food safety and ergonomic practices, organization can maintain a safer, healthier, and more efficient working environment for all employees. So guys, that's all for the video. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching until the end. So, peace out.